And we're live again. Welcome back, everyone, to the HVAC 2.0 show. Today it's just going to be me and Ted, and I guess we'll just kind of riff with whatever we got. We may talk about a few things. We had some plans for tonight's show, but a few things fell through, so we're just gonna. I guess we'll do a kind of open mat style for a meeting. Well, you got any topics you want to jump
Well,
right into?
I would like to talk a little bit about now that we finally have our product flow worked out and all the different modules pretty much dialed in. I think we can talk a little bit about what HVAC20 is and what the free quote process is. And the problems it solves. And what I'd like to do is, from thinking about the problems it solves, build basically a comfort quiz for contractors and that follows the same model as the comfort quiz for prospects. So that when people are signing up for the HVAC 2.0 account, we help them understand the things that they're hoping to solve and how important it is to them to solve those problems. The same way for the 4 questions quiz and comfort scale, help homeowners think about problems they're hoping to solve and how much they bother them. So, I'm thinking that some of the things, well, here's my list. The free quote process for you guys seems to be providing higher close rates, higher job sizes, higher job margins, which usually means higher profit per job, happier customers, fewer callbacks. In particular, it helps avoid callback purgatory jobs, which are the ones that are really messed up because, well, predominantly because you got equipment grossly oversized to ductwork. I'm hearing from the field. I talked to a install manager yesterday, and he said that callback purgatory jobs are predominantly due to like for like sales, and through the explaining to homeowners that the new equipment doesn't work like the old equipment, so you can't do like for like with the new equipment if you don't have ductwork to support the size of your old equipment. So the whole static pressure section helps homeowners understand delivered capacity of their old equipment isn't necessarily the same as the rated capacity of their old equipment. And the new equipment needs to be no bigger than the duct capacity, or they open themselves up to a whole lot of likely problems. Sales performance stats tracking. So the software is, if you put every lead that you run into the software, and the software is going to be connectable through Zapier to Salesforce and other, or Service Titan and other CRM software. So you could just have every lead automatically populate. And if you do that, then the only requirement is to, if you make a sale, put the numbers associated in with the sale. And if you don't make a sale, mark it as not sold. And a repeatable sales process with built-in CYAs at every step. So those are some of the things I think we could build comfort quiz questions around. And so it would probably start with, would you like, and then those things. And then after they've entered those things, have a notes field below the scale rating that they put associated with each of those things, 0 to 10. And then that would allow, probably what we'd want to do is have it sort by importance. So they'd enter these things, they'd have their pain quiz or business problems they'd like to solve quiz. And they'd have it sorted by priority, or what they feel like their priority rating is for each of those things. Does that sound like it might be a good way to have, people enter the software? Because I'm seeing like it's one of the first things we created, and it has some questions, but I don't think they're all that meaningful. It's the questions we ask are more questions we'd like answered rather than problems the contractor would like solved. And so I think we need to start with problems just like we start with problems the homeowner would like solved. We need to, now that we're thinking about having people sign up for the software, we need the same type of process. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, definitely having questions that are going to get to, what would a salesperson or business owner, what are the problems that they're looking to solve? Uh, I think in the same way that the comfort quiz also will get people to think about things that they maybe haven't thought about and relate problems to things that they knew of. Like as an example, when you ask someone the question of, do you have any summertime comfort problems, and you get an immediate, like, the first answer is no, but then you have more discussions. It's like, oh, well, actually there is this one room that's hotter than the rest, and then as you kind of pick at that, you kind of uncover something that they knew, they just didn't kind of connect the dots of, like, oh, that is a problem and it is solvable. I feel like there's going to be similar things for, the business owner or the salesperson of, they've there's something that they think is just normal, or maybe they just don't understand it well enough to know it's a problem, and it'll take some of those questions to start to peel back that onion to get to those root pains.
Do you have any thoughts on some that I may have missed?
Um, not that not that I can think of immediately, because I think some of this is going to be, there's I've not asked those questions to people, and so I don't know how people will respond, and so I don't
Okay.
know what's going to be the, if we asked enough people, we could get a pattern of what are the common things that people, you know, struggle with, or in, and also like what is their perception of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's something that we need initially. We need to, like, what are the problems and how are they perceived before, and then we can kind of dig more into like, okay, then how do we correct it? And then that can feed back to the initial of going, when you are bringing these people in, because then you can kind of go, hey, what kind of problems are you having? Oh, I'm having problems X, Y, and Z. Oh, okay, yeah, we've run into this a lot of times. Uh, Typically, people with problems like X tend to need to do things like Y and Z, and here's why. And then you can help them connect the dots. But we just need to know what those are. We need to know what those points are exactly. Because I think there would be, well, I think there's going to be different caricatures that are going to have different perceptions of different problems. I think the typical business owner, I can see average tickets being low and there being, some, maybe their prices are too low. They just don't know. They just don't get that. They're like, okay, I'm not making enough money. Wow, what's your average ticket? 7,000. Well, you can you do 20, 25 installs in a month? Well, not really. I don't have the capacity. And it's like, well, unless we bump up that average ticket, we can't get that revenue where you need it to be. It's like, there's going to be things like that that are going to be, you know, in the sales process of simply like offer better equipment, give more than one option. You don't have to, if people aren't just looking for the cheapest thing possible, so you don't have to go, okay, well, here's your price for a Goodman single stage. Give those better options. Let people buy and allow that to increase your average ticket. Or, you know, maybe uh, they do really good, like maybe sales wise, they do really good when it's a long time customer, and that customer is like, hey, give me a quote, and then they're not looking for anyone else. But when they have a more uh, cold lead, warmish lead, where it's not an existing customer, it's somebody new, and they're getting three quotes, and you just don't have a good sales process to really, you know, make that sale. So then it's like, okay, well then you can bump up that closing ratio for those types of leads. And I could see several different little things like that that could be common. Hmm.
I think also we need to make it clear what's included with the basic subscription and that the basic subscription is free for the first 3 months. Um, so, and I've started a list. Free in the free quote is the 4 questions quiz/scale. Oh, I guess unlimited prospects. The 4 questions quiz scale, interview, documenting the interview, 6 functions video, equipment choice and budget limitations table, likely load range, duct capacity limitations, 60-second static video, static pressure signature capture. There are other things that I'm not thinking of that are part of the free quote process before the report? Because really the only thing we charge for is if they decide they want to run the report to send to the homeowner. Maybe we should talk about
Yeah.
that a little bit. Is the report something that you run at the free quote visit?
Is that a question for if you should or shouldn't?
Um, or if you do or don't, 'cause I can imagine cases where you would run it right there. But I also think whether you run it and show it to them right there, that you also wanna email it to them so they can chew on it later.
Uh, I mean, yeah. I think, is there a time that you don't show them the report? Because you're not giving them pricing through the report. So
Well, so I'm not really sure because, I don't do it. I'm not using it, and so I'm not sure
I
exactly
think
what everybody's process is.
I can't think of why you wouldn't, because I mean, let me think about this. I could see I could see maybe dropping the price portion of it entirely and always showing the report, because the only thing in terms of like within the sales process, obviously you want to have yes, no, no, maybe. You want to set the expectations of, you tell me when you're ready to make a decision, I'll give you a price then, but only when you're ready to say yes or no, and so, but I think the tables is something that can help. It can help them decide what they even want to price on. And so I feel like giving that information to them, I can't think of something or when you wouldn't
Are
give that.
you putting the pricing beyond range in the second table?
If I'm putting anything pricing, it's only range. I don't do monthly, and I
Okay, so the report with the I'm of the feeling that pricing doesn't occur in the free quote report.
yeah. I mean, I think at most it's just range. It's like a wide range.
It's to help them bracket and decide what they can afford.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
Um,
so, and I think as long as you give a wide enough range, and when I say range, I mean from the least expensive option to the most expensive option, as long as that range covers anything anybody else can quote, they can't price shop, because they can't be like, they can't take that to someone else and say, "Hey, can you beat this price?" Because there's not a price.
right, what you're hoping they actually do is they pick is it helps them build their replacement specification.
Yeah,
The best
exactly.
replacement specification that fits their budget,
Yeah,
and so that then they go price shopping with it, and, I mean, I think you could give them price at that visit without yes, no, no, maybes, but I think the closing rate's gonna be higher with yes, no, no, maybes,
yeah,
which may mean another visit or giving them price over the phone once they've got their quotes, but, um, you really wanna be sure that they were able to get apples to apples bids to their specification so that when you give them a bid, your bid is competing head to head with the other bids.
yeah,
And it does add another step, but I mean, the most expensive part of of the lead is getting the lead. So I don't know why people would want to burn through a lead and have low closing rate if they could do a couple of additional steps and have much higher closing rates and job sizes.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why we need to articulate that following this process gets you these things, including tracking that you're actually getting higher closing rates and job sizes. And I guess, I mean, seems to me like larger companies probably are tracking those numbers, but smaller companies, it seems like they maybe aren't. And that's something I wanted to talk about too. Are smaller companies not keeping track of those numbers because they're they feel overwhelmed because they got so many balls that they're juggling? Or are they not tracking those numbers because they simply don't have a tool that easily tracks it? And so they have to, you know, build their own spreadsheet. And maybe some guys don't even know how to
Uh,
build spreadsheets.
yeah.
We're getting
I
to the point where these tools are so ubiquitous that people maybe don't know how to use spreadsheets because they're used to having pre-constructed tools that they use.
Yeah, I think for smaller companies, I think it's more. I think if you did a poll, if you checked, every company that is, let's say, 1 million or less, and you ask them, do you track your numbers? If so, why not? And like got genuine answers. I think overwhelmingly it'll say no, they don't track. And uh, what it'll boil down to for why they don't is they don't know why they should. Like they don't see the value in it. It's we either made money or we didn't make money. What you know? Why would I put in all this time and energy into something just to get a number? Like I don't think there's really, and again, because most of the smaller companies are technicians that decided that the owner was making too much and I want to make more money. And so they go off on their own. And so it's a technician that is trying to run a company and they're not really a business person. And so I think those types of people, they just don't quite get the the business side of things to understanding why the metrics make why it's useful. And you know, and also, I mean, they I would imagine a good chunk of them probably don't even track total revenue until tax time.
Until they go, I mean, if they wanna make more money, if they're not tracking how much money they're making, how do they know if they're making more money?
They don't. Well, they wait until it's tax time, and you go sit down in front of your tax person, your CPA, and you go, "Here's all my receipts," and I added all. That's when they figure all this stuff up, and then like, "Oh, I guess we did okay this year," or
Oh my goodness. So somehow they're are they winging their pricing? Or
yes.
what
Oh, yes, yes.
how are they figuring out pricing? Just based on what they saw at the company they used to work for? "Oh, I'm gonna price $500 less than the way they priced."
Um, well, most are definitely just winging the price, and they typically base it on what other people are charging. So they go, okay, so I worked for so and so, and they charge this, and I go buy the equipment, and if I can get the equipment, install it, and have profit left over, and it be at the same price or less than what I know someone else is charging, that's what I'm going to do. And then if they change it, either go up or go down, it's just it's just kind of guessing. It's like, oh, I feel like I would imagine very few are going to actually have a way of calculating what that is. Of going, okay, here's my cost, blah blah blah.
So they may not keep track of their material cost or their time cost. Or you think they do have they keep track of their material cost, but maybe not their time cost? Like hours spent on a job?
Uh, Owners probably. I mean, I have worked for people, and I've worked with people that I know they don't track that. They will pay themselves a certain amount, and you know, because it's funny because they'll pay themselves a certain amount, and if you're the owner, you're going to be paid the most. That's just how it is, whatever. But then I've seen where they will go do some of the most like low level tasks, something that they can go pay a guy $12 an hour to do, and they'll be doing these crazy little tasks that don't make sense. Of you know they're going and picking up parts, and they're going to pick up equipment, and they're going to do this, and they're doing like they're just being a gopher. And because there's been a couple of times I'm thinking of a few scenarios of talking to someone, be like, I tell you what, that's the most highly paid gopher I've ever seen. And it's just because they don't equate that, okay, I'm spending X amount of hours doing stuff, you know, uh, and that which equates out to X amount of dollars per hour. And so when I think about me going and picking up this $20 part, I spent, you know, 200 bucks, in all this travel to go get $100 worth of parts. And then I look at what I'm selling that for, and then I'm paying somebody to do the
Right,
job.
so you're selling the parts
Yeah.
for 200 that you bought you paid $100 for the parts. You're selling them for 200, but in fact they cost you 300. But you're not tracking but you're not paying attention to your costs. So you don't realize that you're actually losing money on the parts because you didn't acquire them in a smart way.
Yep.
So it's a just sort of shoot from the hip and hope the end of the year turns out okay and I'm not bankrupt.
Yeah. Well, it's the equivalent of living paycheck to paycheck is essentially what happens. Is it's,
A
you
life
know,
of silent desperation.
yes.
Okay.
And but like, and how that can kind of, and how that becomes viable is that, there's such a need for companies and people to do the work. So there's way more supply, or there's way more demand than there is supply. And so really, if you just get your name out there enough at that lower $1 million or less mark, well, you can get enough just through referrals of just people coming to you that the cash flow just works. Like, you're not having to necessarily,
Well, so no wonder they think they can't sell better equipment
yeah,
because
because
their
they're
whole process is desperation for the sale, and they don't have any kind of a sales process that helps people choose what
yes.
equipment they want, and they don't have any type of a pricing mechanism if people did choose better equipment that helps the person that's choosing the better equipment realize that the better equipment costs more. So
Yep.
people would actually need to know what equipment to ask that person for to get better than the worst equipment because they don't have a sales process that educates the homeowner that there's better equipment out there. So
Yeah.
that helps explain why contractors like selling bigger equipment because they're like, "Oh, well, if I sell bigger equipment, I'm going to make more."
uh I don't think it's that. I think it's
Fear
more.
of callbacks.
Yeah, yeah, that's 100% what it is. It's, I don't want someone calling me when it's 100 degrees and having to go, because you also think about when you get those, like, if you're in desperation mode, you're living paycheck to paycheck as a business. uh you're running extremely lean. Like, you don't pay for leads. Leads are just, they just come to you, and you're barely making enough money on leads that you don't pay for to make it. And so if you get this problematic customer where you have to, go out on that 100-degree day because it's not keeping up,
They
that's a loss.
know so they
You're
know that they have no pay calls.
Yes.
and they're afraid of callback purgatory.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're afraid of a problem that they can't fix and they don't know. It's like a, you know, there's kind of this common thing of having a problem customer. Now, that problem customer may just be a problem they can't solve. And they're just trying to avoid problem customers and get to the next one. It's either, you're just trying to catch up. That's just, you're just in a constant state of trying to catch up. And you just feel like you don't have time to deal with those types of things. And so when it comes to sizing equipment, you are going to lean towards bigger because that feels safer. Just because it directly relates to, okay, what about those 100-degree days? Granted, they don't, a lot of the times there's not pieces being put into place of like, okay, well, why isn't that 4-ton unit keeping up? Is it that it is choked down and so the airflow's wrong, therefore you're derating that system? Is it that you have duct leakage? If you have a system in the attic and you got return duct leakage and you're bringing in 140-degree air when it gets 100 degrees outside, is that it? Like those things aren't really, you know, really thought about that much. It's simply, it's 100 degrees, it's not keeping up. In the future, I'm going to upsize to avoid that. That's just the line of thinking. And a lot of times it works in their mind, which is why it happens.
So, chatting with Sergey, who is working in a $40 million sales company.
Okay, that would be interesting.
Yeah, they do track close rate. And hopefully he'll show us his. Um, I stopped at a branch this week, and so we'll find out from Sergey if his company also takes these numbers and calculates revenue per lead. Um, the branch I visited, his sales guy's revenue per lead is somewhere between 4,100 and 7,000, which I found interesting because you guys are somewhere around 10,000 in revenue per lead, I think. What do you know what your revenue per lead is, Tanner?
Uh, Let me give me 1 second. I'll see exactly what it is. I want to say, uh, so let me see what I have. So I have one job that is, do I have it in there? Okay, yeah, I do. Yeah, so my revenue per lead right now is 11,000. And that's for this year. And my gross profit per lead ran is 6,100.
Okay. So what does that mean? Do you have your average sale too?
Uh, Average job is 15.5, and that is mostly down because I just I got 2 sales this week, yeah, last week, that were for a small, it was an apartment type thing, basically
Okay.
cheap as
Yeah.
possible, which was 7,100 for each.
Mm-hmm.
And so that one put a hurting on my average ticket, but
Yeah. Ronnie told me that last month he was at 10,000
Oh wow. Well, it's he had like a lot of
revenue per
duck.
lead.
Oh, oh,
So
oh
he's
wow.
so he's so he's up.
Okay.
He's up because I think before that he was in the 7 to 8,000 range. I don't know what his number is for the year. Um, and I think all of these numbers help you get to most important, which is gross profit per lead run. Looks like your margin is about 55.
Wait, what's that now?
Your average gross margin is about 55.
Oh yes.
Um, so I have a feeling that this branch, it had an average revenue per lead, even from the guy whose number's 7,100, their gross profit probably not more than 50%. So they're turning leads into um, $3,500.
Yeah.
So turning a lead into $3,500 versus um, you or Ronnie turning it into over 5,000 is a lot of money left on the table.
Oh yeah.
Um, and if you can avoid those callback problems associated with not having a good sales process, because if you got a bunch of callbacks and you're making 3,500, that 3,500 can shrink pretty fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And especially if you when you factor in because a lot of people's margins are, also very low. And so if you have somebody that their margin's only 35, 40% plus they only have $3,500 revenue per lead, it's not very good. So just
Yeah. So here's Sergey's comment. Um, I just moved up to Idaho from Vegas to work for another company from the portfolio. In Vegas, average sale has been 16,000. Here in Idaho, we've been traveling or trailing 13 to 14. KPI for marketed is 50%, TGL 65%. Do you have any thoughts or comments on that, Tanner?
I mean, I I don't know. I wonder, is Vegas, how different is the market in Vegas? Because I feel like there's certain cities where it's just it can kind of be a not an anomaly, but just a different place. Because I have heard, and maybe it's just a big city, so there's a bunch of big players, and all of them are just good on the business side. So that's like a commonality. And so that is one thing which also in those areas, they are not going to have, the humidity issues, or at least not the same type of humidity issues. They're having the inverse. And so uh,
Right.
I wonder, it would be interesting to take a company like that and see, okay, when you have callbacks and you have, the bad situations, what are the underlying problems for that, and what do those tend to be versus, a green grass climate, because we know what those are. And so
Right.
it'd be interesting to see how different it is there. And also, uh, is there how big of a cost association difference is between the two? Does one have if during those bad callbacks, is one not as bad as far as the cost to correct isn't as high, because I mean, I'm just trying to think, because then in our area, like worst case scenario, you have an oversized unit on undersized ductwork, and you have to replace the unit again, or maybe you have to replace the unit and do some ductwork. So you have to basically give somebody a full system to correct that callback. Uh, is that a common resort in those climates, and does that change? That's just some things that just pop into my mind that I would be interested to see.
What do you think about the numbers? I mean,
Um,
it sounds like
really good numbers. It
yeah,
sounds like
8,000 revenue per lead, or 8,000 profit. Well,
mhm,
per sale. What we don't know is closing rate.
yeah,
So
yeah, and
8,000 profit for sale. How do we convert that to?
well, he says KPI for marketed. When he says KPIs, you're referring to closing rate.
Oh, okay.
What KPI?
Is TGI that? I guess that's
T
a.
is that an I? Is it or TGL? Total gross income. I know some of these terms, like there's so many different
I know there are
acronyms for the ones.
different ways that people
Yeah. Is
define
it
the
an
same
income
thing.
is it an income statement, or is it a profit and loss? Is it a P&L? It's like, oh,
It gets me confused. I'm thinking that okay, so they're making 50% closing on marketed leads, which is pretty amazing because it sounds like um, for Ronnie's company, marketed lead closing rate is between 25 and 40%, depending on the salesperson.
yeah.
Um,
And that's right in line with just standard sales industry averages. Yes, close rate.
mhm.
Tech generated
60,
lead.
65% for turnovers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turnover 65. That,
So that's high too, because
yeah.
Ronnie, I don't think he's at 65%. Um,
Yeah, and their average ticket is high enough that the high closing rates doesn't indicate low pricing neither. So, I mean, those sound like good
right.
numbers.
So 16,000 at say average of 55 to 60%, depending on their mix, um, is higher than 8 grand.
Yeah.
That's closer to Ronnie's numbers.
Yeah.
Um, and Ronnie's numbers are really high for his company.
Yeah.
So this is very helpful. Um, so revenue per lead at 16 grand with a 60% close rate is, let's call it 9 grand. And
Yeah.
if they're doing a 50 margin, then that's 4,500.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's ask if he Sergey, do you know your margin or the company's margin for those calls?
Yeah, and at 4,500, yeah, and I mean, if we assume roughly 50%, if we are putting them at roughly 4,500 gross profit per lead ran, I mean, you got a lot of wiggle room to pay to get leads. Because I mean, if you did,
You got
I was
money
doing
to
some,
pay to get leads, you got
yeah,
money for callbacks.
yeah, because I was doing some quick math. If you pay $250 to get a lead, uh, at $4,500 gross profit per lead run, that's an 18 to 1 CAC to LTV there.
Okay, so now
I mean,
you're gonna have to explain what CAC to LTV is every time that you mention it.
uh, CAC is the cost of acquiring a customer. So how much do you pay to get a lead, or to which actually no, that wouldn't be correct. I did the math wrong. That would be cost of getting a lead. That'd be lead cost.
Okay,
And then LTV is lifetime value, or you could do lifetime gross profit, which would be more accurate for that. But that being an 18-to-1 ratio, that's really high. I mean,
okay.
you put $1 in, you get $18 out. You know, you've
What's
got,
low?
uh, I mean, less than 1 to 4, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 is kind of low.
Okay.
Uh, if you're getting,
So
I think,
$4 is you're gonna go broke, which means that
uh,
$10 is probably average and 18's good.
18's really good.
Okay.
Because if you think about it, you can then spend more money, and instead of $250, you can spend $500 to get a lead, and you can still be profitable, which means you can outspend your competition around you. Everyone else, they can only afford 250. Well, guess what? You can pay 500. So if you're competing on, Facebook ads, you can outspend your competition. They can't even compete with you because you've got the money to spend to get the people, because you've got such a well-oiled machine that you're still getting gross profit out the back end.
Right.
So that's where that becomes super helpful. Let's see.
Well, the
And
other information I received recently is,
mm,
um, this company is gonna put salespeople on notice if their revenue per lead isn't above 4,800. Now, I'm hoping that they'll start shifting to profit per lead, but assuming a 50% margin, that means that they're looking to get 2,400 per lead,
hmm
um, which Ronnie, I think, pretty consistently exceeds 50%. So at 10,000 revenue per lead, he's doing 5,000 margin, which means that he's double where they wanna put people on notice.
yeah, which is really good. But yeah, I
Yeah,
was
and
just
that's the other thing is, I wonder if there's a way to, if the calendar is open, like, tomorrow and those guys are gonna get sent home, is there a way to recognize those salespeople that help fill the calendar? Because right now, there doesn't seem to be much, explicit incentive to the sales force to fill the calendar, and if they drop their margin, it actually is gonna cost them.
hmm. Um, I don't
You know?
know. It's kind of hard to say without having experience managing a sales team like that. I have heard people that are not within HVAC, but they talk about managing sales teams, and the topic was like how do you allocate leads to? And there's like
Right.
one train of thought of, okay, you take the leads and you equally disperse them. And then there's the other train of thought, which is who's the best? If you're the best, you get the best leads. And then as the lead, and as the quality of leads go down, they get sent to further down the totem pole. So it's
Right,
like if
and
you're not
it
performing well, you get the worst leads. It's just
right,
how it is.
that seems to make sense to me.
Yes,
That seems to make sense to me, and I
me
don't
too.
understand why, like, Austin's at the bottom of the totem pole, and his revenue per lead is something like 12.
That's crazy.
And I'm sure his margins are good.
Yep,
So
that's a good term.
but
That's
he's
a good
getting
analogy.
terrible number of leads. So I mean, aren't they just throwing money away because they're not looking at this right? They're looking at
Oh
they're
yeah.
looking at oh, this guy's a closer. Well, sure, the best guy in his shop gets basically all turnovers, and he's got an 80% close rate, but at what margin?
Yeah.
And also, what equipment's he selling? What are his job sizes? So, like, if his average job size is $8,000 and his average margin is 45, I mean, he's hardly. I mean, he's hardly at 3,500 of gross profit. So,
Oh yeah.
does that make him? What makes him special? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
Oh, it
he's
doesn't.
competing, if he's comparing to Austin or Ronnie that are above 5,000,
Yeah.
and that 5,000 includes marketed leads.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's always going to be easier to do less profitable work than it is to do profitable work. So, I mean, put me in any sales organization and tell me that it's okay if I go sell things that don't make very much money, at low margins and uh
Yeah, if I give
and
away the store and sell the same thing to everybody, whether or
yeah,
not,
yeah,
this is a size 10 shoe, and I'm really good at selling this one
yeah.
brand a size 10 shoe, so that's all I sell. And I deep discount it, but I sell an awful lot of those shoes. Well,
Hmm.
if you're not looking at if you're not looking at profit per lead, you're not really looking at the guy's performance. You're
Yeah.
looking at metrics that make him seem great, but he's not necessarily great. And then at the end of the day, are those customer sat numbers great?
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
if you never sell a green speed, are you really serving the clients? Because Ronnie and Austin are selling green speeds all the time. And homeowners we know are like, they tend to have very high customer sat rate if you sell green speeds. So if he's never selling green speeds, I don't think
Yeah.
he's serving the customer well. That's an indication not serving the customer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What are you thinking there, Timmy, about this conversation?
Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from. We believe the higher end equipment is better comfort, so that's better for the customer. So if you're not selling it, yeah, you're doing disservice to the customer.
If you're not selling it, you're probably not offering it, and that's
Yeah,
where it becomes. Or
The fact
you,
that they don't own it is your fault, not theirs,
yeah,
if you don't
right.
offer it.
yeah.
Yep.
But also, another thing that can attribute to the higher closing rate. But let's say you are offering the green speed, you come up and you go, "Hey, listen,
Oh, you don't
there's
need
this
this.
option
You
right
don't
here.
need this.
It costs $25,000, but listen,
Hmm.
you don't need it. I can get you this one over here. It's 9,000. It's a very competitive price. It's going to be hard to find, anyone else that can really beat this price. We're a big company, yeah, you can get really high closing rates doing that, uh, and especially if it's a tech gen. I mean, I, I mean, I would argue really if you have over an 80% closing ratio, uh, either A, your pricing is too low, or B, your average ticket is going to be low because you're just pushing that lower end stuff. Like you're not even given the option to go up from there. Yeah,
I think the way
that
these
as
companies
well
do their batting order,
because
that's
that's
an
a good
interesting
point
way of
right
doing it.
there. Because definitely you can also make really good sales if you go and give everybody 10% discounts. You know,
Yeah, you can sell things at cost.
Well,
uh,
yeah. So I guess what Sergey's saying is that if you look at the average or median discount, that's a flag.
yeah,
Um,
Fair.
But on the other hand, if you just shift right over to profit per lead, you don't have to dig in. This is looking at you like, okay, so let's dig into the weeds.
Yeah.
Just show me this number, and I don't have to dig in.
Yeah. Which,
Although the difference in Sergey's market between marketed and tech gen closing rate isn't as much as I would have expected. And it seems like his company has a pretty good sales process if they're closing that high.
yeah.
So I'd be interested to understand that the sales process. Sergey, do you know
Yeah. And
the sales process that they use?
And which another thing to add to him talking about discounts, I have talked to someone that is in the blind and shade industry that I thought their sales or their method of discounting was an interesting way where the salesperson, it's at their sole discretion of what discounts they give. But the way the lever works is if you give the more of a discount you give, the less of a commission that you make.
And that's how I've heard a lot of HVAC companies doing it as well.
Well, that's the way Ronnie's is done. They get paid 5%, and then they have a true up at the end based on margin. So the following month there's a true up, and I think that's a pretty slick way of doing it, actually.
Yeah, I've not heard that, so I thought that's what I was thinking. I'm like, actually, that's a good way of doing it, especially if you can really keep a tight control on those gross margins. So then that way, then the salesperson, they're only going to really discount when it makes the most sense. Because like if you've got a ton of leads and you're busy, why would you discount much? It's like,
Right.
hey, here, the price is the price. You don't want to pay it? Okay, that's fine. We'll move on to the next one.
Mhm.
But if you do have the time, you've got the time slots to fill. Hey, we're a little bit slow. If I was able to give you 5% off, would you do it today? Because then if you don't like it, if you don't get it, you're just going to sit around twiddling your thumbs anyways. So
Right.
it's a good way. But I think that it can be a little dangerous because if someone can make a decent living that they're okay with discounting things to have an easier closing ratio, that can hurt the company, because if you don't have a good control on those margins and those discounts are not making you profitable, or it's making it very difficult to be profitable, well, then that can put you in a bind. Blend of Nexstar and Service MVP.
Okay, so Nexstar has a basis in Sandler, although it also salts in a bunch of coercive shit, I think.
And I would say Service MVP has a bit of Sandler as well,
Okay.
because they present options and say, what should we do? So they are trying to end on a question. I don't know if that's how his business does it, but
Well, that would help explain the high closing rate, because the customers are comfortable. They're not feeling coerced.
right.
And I think if we start having conversation and pushing the narrative that using those high pressure tactics probably doesn't improve your closing ratio in today's world,
Yeah.
we can maybe get the market to shift where people stop doing that used car shit. What can I do to get you to buy this car today? So, Sergey, are you a technician?
He seems to be more in a more manager role, is how I was reading it.
Okay. So one of the things I've been thinking of is this free quote process is getting to the point where it's so good that a technician could do it. Even a technician that doesn't like to think of themselves as a salesperson. Because it doesn't feel like you're selling, it feels like you're just helping guide the homeowner.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of technicians like the equipment, but feel uncomfortable interacting with a homeowner, particularly if the company's pressuring them to put pressure on homeowners. Oh my gosh, he's stepping down too. I met two guys today that have been in the management, and they're leaving it. Why are you leaving, Sergey? And what are you going to step down to? And what management? Are you in sales management or install or service? So Timmy, what's been going on, bud?
Nothing much. Just ran one or two sales calls. Got some more scheduled. Working on this big project for mold sensitive client. She's about ready to be wrapped up, and then potentially have another big job coming up. So,
oh, nice.
Just a lot in the works. Yeah,
what's the one coming up?
Potentially. So this was a client who did a comfort consult like 3 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I love those long tail comfort consults.
Yeah.
So because people are like, oh, if you don't sell it today, you're never going to sell it. And
right.
Free quote process, sometimes people take a week or two.
Right.
But on comfort consults, they'll come back a year or two later.
So he has a high velocity. Well, there's been a lot of ups and downs. He has a high velocity AC with gas boiler heat, and initially wanted to go heat pump air to water. And his house is pretty leaky, but then he got spray foam. He got open cell on his roof deck.
Why did he do that?
To bring his load down. What the initial comfort consult was, the load is high for your house, stone walls, so a very old historic house. So I was just like, I don't think a one air to water is going to do what you need it to do, especially on old cast iron radiators. And he wants to move. He works for, how do I say it without, he works for a petroleum company.
Okay.
In their, alternatives to petroleum.
Division?
Yeah, something like that. And maybe leads it.
Okay. So he'd like to electrify.
Yes, 100%. That's his main pain. He doesn't like.
I think we talked about this job.
We have, and it's finally coming around.
We talked about talking him into either using that Unico system if it could carry the load to heat and cool,
right,
and keeping the boiler as backup as a just in case.
So his biggest pain. So I guess electrification was part of it, but his biggest pain was how poorly the boiler piping is ran in the basement and how he bumps his head on it a lot.
Oh.
So
why would he want to keep it?
He doesn't. He actually just removed it. It's gone.
Oh my gosh. It's gone and he's got no heat?
No, not right now.
Was he going to repipe it?
He had considered that. He's progressed. It was Unico with a Bosch was going to be step one, and or the heat pump air to water was step one, and it was Bosch and Unico. Then it was second upstairs, just do high velocity, and first floor do like mini splits.
Okay.
And now I think we're two full size green speeds.
Oh, he's going to reduct the upstairs and downstairs.
Yeah, I think we're trying to figure out. He would like
There's
to
a
not.
way you can run ductwork from the first floor to the second.
No, we're just going to do two separate.
Okay.
They don't want to sacrifice the space.
Gotcha.
But their biggest issue is the intrusion of like cutting new grills in their ceiling. Because it's plaster and lath, so they're concerned about that. So we're.
Oh, I would be too.
I'm looking into reha. And I know Jeff had a negative.
What's reha?
It's essentially like you build a high velocity manifold. It looks like high velocity ducts, but you just do a shit ton of them to make it to where it's low velocity. It turns into more medium velocity. Yeah.
Okay.
So to potential do that, we might have to add some more, but that's better than trying to cut like a 4x12 or 6x10 or something like that in there. So trying to get more info on that is kind of our stalling point right now. But he's considered even lowering his basement floor.
Good Lord.
Yeah, they're pretty serious about, the steps to get here. And he's reached out to, he just can't, essentially it seems at this point, he can't find a competent contractor who is willing to do it. Pour all the footings and stuff like that. I don't think anybody wants to do it. You might have to dig a lot of it out by hand.
Charge a lot.
Yeah. But he seems I guess he's an engineer too.
Well, he's not committed.
Yeah, I mean his boiler's gone, so it's
that must have been, he must have just been at his wit's end.
Yeah.
I mean, I got plumbing in my basement, and I just got that reflective stuff.
Yeah.
And wrapped it so it's not a head bump anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a head bump, but it's not a painful one.
Right. I mean, I think this has been a pain point for us for a while. I guess he wants more usable space in the basement or whatever.
It seems like he got his order wrong, though.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
I would have followed the order of like keep the boiler, make the changes,
and
then be confident that you got enough capacity.
I mean, I think in like the past 3 years, 4 years, whatever, like 2/3 of that time it was keep the boiler and repipe it. And then within the past like 6 months, it's like, no, we're just going to get rid of it. And like within the past 2 months.
It's been hot. It's been hot. He's like, I got to get rid of this. And I'm going to need good cooling too.
Right. Exactly. So
it's hot in this house. I'm going to have to go ductwork.
Right.
I mean, he's not in a climate where he could do radiant cooling.
I don't think there's many of those climates out there in reality.
Funny thing is Sergey lives in them.
Yeah, would be the few.
But that's a very rich man's tool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what coming up. It's like that was a comfort consult 3-4 years ago. I technically did 2. We did 1 and then he got spray foam and we came back and saw how much it tightened things up. And we like compared his energy bills. He did have a 20% reduction in energy bills.
Did he mention a change in comfort?
To be honest, no. I mean, he doesn't like the high velocity a lot because of the noise. Probably doesn't have enough runs. We even attempted to put in silencers, and they were buried like in the back of stuff, and like we pulled them out and they had silencers already on them. So
Okay.
like we've done a lot of steps to get to this point. And it, yeah, seems like he keeps finding things that he was on the fence with, like, do I want to do this, and then he picks a side eventually.
Hmm. And then he gets frustrated and jump steps.
True.
Puts himself a little bit in a box.
Yeah. This all started too because the company that serviced his unit is private equity. And they told him his system was 8, 10, whatever. They were like, it's nearing the end of its life.
Okay. How old is it?
Like 8 or 10 years old. I don't know. Maybe.
It probably is near the end of its life if he doesn't have enough runs.
But that was 4 years ago.
Oh.
And it's still running. Yeah.
Mine is over 25 years old.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that literally started the ball rolling on all this.
Do you have a handle on any of those numbers we were talking about?
No, not as good. Now that the software is really nice for tracking that. So I'm going to go retroactively put some stuff in.
Okay.
There was a time where I wasn't fully using the software. I built a spreadsheet and was pretty much mimicking the software.
Okay.
So I need to put some stuff back in.
I would love feedback.
Yeah.
Because I think it looks pretty nice, and it's nice that it's going to be right there on the main page.
Yep.
And
I saw the Zapier page on there.
Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if it. Go to your profile. It was there at least when I checked. When
under.
Is he sharing a screen?
He might have got off of it looking.
There's something else I was thinking about.
Yeah, on mine, I still have some cleaning up to do on some of the entries that I've had.
I would love
metrics are off.
I would love detailed feedback on what we might do for new people to enter their old numbers, because I really want to track the old numbers to the new numbers, and I really like. And
if you go to your page and go to account and then go to your settings and templates.
Okay.
And then all the way to the right is KP or KPI.
API access.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see it now.
And that, I don't know how live it is, how well it's integrated yet, but I know that's something that has been.
Whoop.
Okay.
So.
Sorry.
Yeah, where you got to go in the software for certain things is, well, one of the things that we're going to change, I think, is make it easier to see, your payment status. So
I didn't even know
people
that.
don't pay the $6 a month, they want to pay it, or they want to turn it off. And so Tanner and Tim are sole proprietor? And that's a good question. I think Tanner's still, he's getting referrals primarily, and his Cybertruck is generating some leads, but he's still sort of figuring out how to do marketing.
Yeah,
Timmy, I'm not sure what you do.
Yeah, Google's been good to me.
Google?
I've been really,
I think SEO doing that, starting to do that.
Google, Facebook groups, neighborhood groups.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Reddit a little bit as of recently.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I know you've been spending time there. It's paying off.
Yeah, I was literally, somebody was posted, there was a post today, like between me, it was like, which would you choose out of these 5 companies? And I was one of them. And I, of course said, this one.
Hey, you should have put it in Slack. I would have went in there and be like, listen.
Put it in Slack.
I'll do like I don't know if you've seen that meme forever where someone at Walmart posted a Facebook post of someone like, here's our new member, and then people in the comments started like just making stuff up, being like, she saved my newborn, it was choking and she come out of nowhere and performed infant CPR, and just people making up stories. I'd do that to you. I'll just go in there and be like, I'll go with this one. Trust me, we were slowly dying of heat, and he come in, saved the day.
Yeah, the comment, I commented, I was like, have you gotten quotes from all of them yet to see? It was like,
oh, that's a good,
5 or 6 people.
That's such a good,
and they were like, no, not yet. We're just trying to figure out. I was like, have you gotten quotes, or have you met any of them to see who you mesh best with? And he said something along the lines of, no, we're looking for reliability and, of course, the best price. And I was like, well, I'm the owner of this one. And I was like,
I'm not going to be the best price.
I was like, yeah, that's literally what I said. I was like, if you're looking for cheapest, it's probably not me. And I gave a whole spiel about whatever. I was like, but quotes are free at the end. So at least the first one is.
Right. First quote's free.
Yeah. Which I ran into that this week.
What do you mean?
Guy had an oil system,
mm-hmm.
and he's like, I reached out to the gas company to see if I could get connected to gas. And it was for a free quote. And I was like, okay. I was like, well, I did all the questions, went through. I was like, so as we're building this, I was like, do you want a gas system or oil system? He's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to get connected to gas or not. Now, and I was like, I was like, when you figure it out, why don't you tell me?
How's he doing air conditioning?
He has like a 20-year-old carrier, 25-year-old carrier, R22 on top of his oil system.
Okay.
And it was like, he said, well, I don't know how, it's going to be weeks before I know back anything from the gas company. So I just want to move forward. Let's just move forward with oil. Okay.
Did he have he didn't have a panel enough for heat pump?
Oh no, we were gonna. I mean, if he was doing oil, he was on board with dual fuel heat pump too.
So he didn't want to go straight heat pump.
Right. Now I did say we could go straight heat pump. He's like, I'm just not sold on that yet.
But he's paying oil prices for his heat. He could go with He could go with an air conditioner with a heat pack.
He said if I get gas, I don't want a heat pump too. He wants just AC and gas.
And the process didn't help him understand that was stupid thinking?
He's a scientist.
Oh, so he's a really stupid person. Okay.
Yeah, something like that. But then we narrowed it down. He was okay. He's like, I'll call you back. We picked out like a variable speed oil and gas. He's like, I want to get some other quotes. I was like, just call me back whenever you're ready. Okay. So we settled on one system, and then he emailed me just the other day, and he was like, hey, I did talk to the gas company, and they said they could hook it up. Can you give me a price on a gas system now?
Okay. Like, you told him, I'm happy to do that, but that's going to be yes, no, maybes.
Right. I was like, well, we went, I haven't fully went through that yet. He said like, what do we? The gas comes at the other side. Do we have to move the system? And I explained to him no, but I just didn't respond to the quote portion yet. But it's just like we talked about this in person, and you know, is it going to be is it going to be how's it going to be handled?
So I think Tanner wants to ask you some questions about Google.
Okay.
Oh, well, I was just asking when you said Google, just to specify, what is that? Google profile, like a Google business profile, local ads, or just SEO, or
no, what? Really just the business profile.
Okay.
So before they updated it, you could our style business, you could link it to an actual physical address without having to have an office front.
Yeah.
And since I moved, it's changed a little bit. But like, so when I started the business like 8-10 years ago, it was linked to my house. So when people search for them, you get your sponsored ads at the top, but then it comes up with
closest
proximity.
Yeah.
And so I was in a good area, good neighborhood.
Okay.
I was getting a lot of, sometimes you had to have a good, strong profile. You were responding to reviews, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's some decent videos and stuff about optimizing that.
Yeah.
Optimize. So like responding to reviews moves you up.
Yeah. And like having
everything moves you up.
Yeah. Photos with the locations attached to them.
Okay.
Oh, you're muted. Or not, you're not muted, but you lost Mike somehow.
Yeah, can't hear you, Timmy.
Yeah, I think his headphones got disconnected. Because I don't think he can hear us neither. Or can you? Can you hear us? I don't think so. I think his headphones got.
There you go.
My mic is I think I got a bad cable because I like barely moved and everything shut down.
We're on a riff. So go back to the beginning of it.
Yeah, but it's just what you followed all these things and whatever steps you could do and just to optimize it. But since I've moved, now you have to actually have like a physical storefront, a business storefront. And
sorta. You can. So I have mine linked. You can do it. It is a headache. I was close to committing war crimes against Google before it was over. But
mine's been unverified like 6 times since I moved. Like they keep unverifying me.
Yeah. Oh, I hate that. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
I hate that so much. Because you can't talk to a person at all. There's no person to talk to. You can send them an email and they might get back with you. They may not, but it's just do this and then you do the thing. And they're like, I know you did the thing we asked for, but that was wrong. And it's like, how is it wrong? We're not going to tell you. You guess. It's like, what is this, taxes? Jesus.
I'll have to, I do have a guy. I have a guy who works at Google.
Oh.
Who, when they did some kind of, we're rolling out new features and somehow hit me up about, had to sign an NDA, that kind of thing, to test drive new features or whatever. And so he responds to emails rather quickly.
Okay.
But sometimes it's just nice. He's just like, well, you got to do the process. You got to get verified. Like, do what it says. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's just like, he's like, that's not my department. I'm I do this. I'm like, well, you can't do anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I was like, I can't test your features while I'm not verified.
Tanner would be a great early adopter for that.
Yeah.
If you want to send him a referral. Send your guy a referral.
I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I have a company that manages my SEO and Google Business Profile page, and now I'm running local service ads, and so luckily they have somebody that is on their team that used to work for Google, so they still have some like,
Oh,
well, they still have connections, but it's still a slow process when you
Mhm.
run into problems because
yeah,
apparently something had changed within their system and it caused a lot of people to get unverified, and then it was difficult for people to get re-verified. And from what I heard, that it was a lot of people having a lot of problems, and it was a headache.
maybe
Uh,
maybe I was part of that.
it was first of this year is when it happened,
I mean,
like
I moved in
February-ish.
October, yeah, and then tried to transfer everything over around then. So it's a possibility.
Yeah, possibly so because it. I ended up getting suspended.
Yeah, that's pretty. I haven't gotten suspended yet.
Don't do that shit.
I was waiting for that. Yeah.
I found out the hard way that like if things aren't working, just stop. Don't make changes.
Right.
Because I was like trying to fix the thing, and I didn't realize that the process, me trying to fix the thing, what inevitably
Makes you
caused
look
the
like a
suspension.
bot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically what it was is you do things and the system recognizes it as weird activity, and
Yeah.
so it gets flagged and then gets suspended, and then you want to shoot yourself for months.
Yeah, they're super smart AI.
Yeah,
It's super smart.
yeah. Maybe they should API out Grok or something.
Yeah.
Eventually, everybody will.
But yeah, I think local services were. I've heard a decline in those as well. I never did them. I heard at one point they were like the tits, like as far as
Well, I
like
just
lead
recently
generating.
started, so so far I've not got anything from it, but
Yeah,
it's
no,
a call,
I
it's
think
a paper call type thing. So,
I think they've dropped off.
oh, they have.
Yeah, from what I hear, it used to be like they started and then they were like the best thing ever, and then Google figured out how to capitalize and suck it dry.
Oh,
And
Well,
yeah,
that's good to know, I guess.
because I mean it's theoretically like a Angie with actually legit leads.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's people searching through Google that will then connect you
yeah,
to the lead, like actual legit searches. But then I've heard it's just like now people just aren't getting the leads.
yeah.
Like
I'm just well, granted. Let's see, what was it? I can't remember. I had some form of verification that had to been complete, and I don't know how long I've been live and like working, but I've not. Well, I take that back. I've got. Uh, let's see, what was it? There was one call that has came in where it's actually like somebody called me, and it was like, I'm over here to look at this window unit. If you turn it on, is it supposed to make this sound? Like that type of call. It's
yeah,
like no, and so which the good thing is, you just say nope, we don't work on window units. Goodbye, and
yeah,
they don't charge you. But I'm going to find out, which I don't have super high hopes for it. I've been spending a metric shit ton of time working on figuring out paid ads, like
yeah,
learning that side of marketing. And well, actually, if y'all want a free book, uh, that link that I sent on
yeah. I
Alex
signed up.
Hormozy's stuff. Yeah, if you want that book that he just launched, I can give it to you for free.
I already
You just got to pay
I
shipping.
already signed up to somebody else's.
Oh, you already bought it?
I did. I paid the shipping for somebody else.
Oh, well, damn.
I know.
Well,
I didn't know you were gonna like. You could give away the book. I thought.
well,
You're.
no. So what it is I paid like $6,000 for some other stuff, and
Yeah.
part of to get the other stuff is you have to donate 200 of those books you donate to people that you know, or they'll donate it for you to entrepreneurs. Right. And so I have 200 redemption codes for this book that I can give away to whoever. So
I just got a text from him, by the way.
By God, that his launch. I mean,
some people are saying it's one of the biggest marketing things to be done on the internet.
I can't see how it wasn't. I mean, he blew past nonfiction book sale records on something that is for business owners. Like,
Yeah.
people can try to hate him as much as possible, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he's worth a lot of money. He puts his money where his mouth is, and he does the things that he talks about. I
Right.
think it's the pinnacle of like business coaching and like that.
Well, send me a
type of
link.
space.
If you need to get rid of another one, I'll buy it and give it to somebody or something.
I mean, I don't have to get rid of them.
Okay.
Like if I have a year to give them to whoever, and if they don't get redeemed, then they just basically go, okay, we'll give them away for you. So,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to give away 200. I don't know 200 people that would actually use the book.
You
And
could
so,
start doing one with every sale,
yeah.
every service call.
Which I will say, anybody that is a small business, I think those concepts of the money models is very. I think at a minimum, it will spark really good ideas for you to come up with good ways of making unique and creative offers.
Right.
We'll put the link that Tanner's talking about in the description for anybody that wants to get the book for free, because it sounds like Alex Perlisi has got some good content.
He's a marketer.
Oh, he is extremely, and one of the, because he basically gave away a bunch of like playbooks and SOPs like to do. That's basically what I paid for. And so one of the things I was after is he has an ads like playbook or SOPs for like here's what I've done, here's the ads that I've ran, why, the structure and all that to make them be successful. And so I'm going to get this and just study the shit out of it and start to use this to running ads. I've got a decent chunk of change set aside now to where it's just going to be I'm going to spend money running ads and just practice with it. It's going to be practice money of run an ad, see how, because I think you pay per impression, and so I'm just going to
at $6,000 profit per sale. you got some money set aside for marketing.
Yeah, and so I'm going to play around, and if I find something that can do similar numbers to what Sergey was doing, if I get something that hits that 1 to 18 ratio, by God, I won't have enough people to do it, but I will spend as much money as I can and keep up with the workload and start hiring people.
You could start selling your leads.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have anybody he could sell them to.
Right.
Yeah. There's nobody in my area. Well, there's one guy that I think is good, but he's just a service tech. The rest of the companies, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to send it to.
The ones that I know that I trust are they're like, we're booked out a month. It's like, yeah, there's a reason. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Our industry, everybody has the same problem. You can't get people.
Yeah. Yeah. Ironically, my wife met a mom through preschool, and her husband, he just sold it, but he built a lead generation business for like restoration companies. And I mean, they're pretty well off. They're 10 years my younger and multimillionaires.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But he was talking about now he is now involved in a network of private equity. And they bought a business in HVAC business in Denver. Yeah.
Denver has a really bad reputation as far as HVAC companies, so that's actually probably a good market.
Right.
I mean, sort of like what we're hoping to do is I would like to first get people who have low profit per lead using the software. I don't want somebody that's $8,000 profit per lead to start using free quote, because I don't think.
Whatever they're doing is working. So don't mess it up.
Orange, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, also it's like if you're already high, like I mean,
don't mess with it.
Yeah. Well, also let's be honest. HVAC 2.0 does not have the funding that say Service Titan or something does. So like the software itself is going to be clunkier. It's not going to be as easy and seamless to use. So you have to have a good bit of upside to be worth to put up with some of the clunkiness.
Yeah.
So if you've got a 3,000 revenue per lead and using some, software that can be clunky at times,
but
makes
it
you go
takes
from
you to
3,000
5,000.
to 5,000. Well, guess what?
That saves
well
your
worth
job.
it. Yeah, it's well worth it.
They're going to fire people that make less than 4,800 revenue per lead.
I mean, they should.
And I mean, I think they should try to help them first. But those are my target.
Yeah.
Those guys that really need the help. Because we still need guinea pigs to make the software less clunky.
Yeah, I think the question, like, are a lot of these businesses, like, do they actually have processes? I think that's I don't understand, and I feel like a lot of them don't. Like, they're teaching maybe sales at their
theory,
office, but is it
sales theory, right?
Yeah, exactly. I hear about it,
but it's not really in a process,
right? Like, I hear about it, but then, like, I'm looking at Ronnie, for example, and like he seems like he's using 2.0, and everybody else is doing whatever the hell they want,
right? Yeah, and it's amazing to me. Like, if I'm the one providing the leads, I'd kind of like to know how the guys are doing, what the guys are doing with my leads.
Right, 100%.
Like, you are giving these people these little gold nuggets, and you're asking them to multiply them. And don't you also want to know what they're doing in those homes? What they're saying to the homeowner?
You would think.
You would think you'd want to know what these people are saying to the homeowner. I should probably add that to the list. You want to know what your salespeople are saying to the homeowner.
Right. Or what they're promising.
Right. Right. What they're promising. If they're promising stuff.
Because, yeah, this unit's going to put your kid through college with the money you're going to save.
Right.
Like, you can't afford to not buy this unit.
I talked a lady out of something today. She called and she was like, she named this local company that's around me that just got bought out by private equity. They're a neighborly company now. And she was like, we've always had allergy problems at this house. And they come out and they're like, and there's dust that's coming out, like it's just super dusty, and there's dust coming out of the vents. And, she was like, they looked at it and they was like, they took pictures inside the ductwork. It's like, oh, you need to have your ducts clean. You need this and that, and quoted her 6,000. We got booted out.
There we go. I have no idea. I got all these scenes over here. I need to delete them.
You booted us.
Okay, I heard you. We're still live.
But
$6,000 for the duct cleaning.
So quoted her $6,000, and it's like, so, which also they're selling the house as well. And so I just kind of asked questions. Okay, well, what is it that makes you? Why did you think you need duct cleaning? Oh, well, this is what they told me. Okay, what are they cleaning the ducts for? Well, there's a dust problem. Okay, why is there dust in there to begin with? And it's like, okay, well, and if you're about to sell the house, what if you spend $6,000 and it just ends up being a complete waste because it doesn't increase your house's value? And it's just like basic things like that, I mean, they're just trying to get a sale. They're not fixing nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just stirring more dust up. It's just going to make things worse. But anyways, I just told her, listen, as much as I would like to come out and give you a quote on whatever thing you would like me to do, and tell you I'll do it for $5,500 instead of $6,000. In my opinion, I wouldn't do anything if I were you, and just sell the house. And then I said, and when you move into another house, if you are worried about air quality and wanting to make sure your HVAC system's working,
call me then.
yeah, give me a call. I'll come out. I'll do a a free check, and we can talk about it a little bit more, see what kind of problems you faced in the past and what you may want to try to avoid. And they was like, well, I'm glad you told me that. And it's like just the sliminess of these companies of duct cleaning and UV lights. They fucking love them.
Mm-hmm. God's solution to air quality.
Yeah.
They're made in space.
NASA space technology.
Yeah. Yeah. I essentially talked somebody out the other day too. Because they're moving within, they said they have no heating and air. Well, they have electric baseboard and window units. It's like, but we're going to move within 5 years. I was like, how much more do you think you're going to get for this house with this? Well, people would want it. I was like, but like, you're going to have to spend 20 grand. Are you going to get 20 grand more?
Mm-hmm. Or are you going to get 10 grand more? Yeah. And $2,000 a year worth of benefit.
Right. Yeah. And you start laying it out and they're just like, well, I thought it was going to be less than, 10. I was like, it's not.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. And you're going to have to do a lot of work deciding who you even want to use.
Yeah.
You're going to have $5,000 worth of your time into this.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, unless you're ready to spend 20, I was like, we probably shouldn't even continue this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I was probably a little ruder to them than I should have been because their house is full of cats. And I'm allergic already. So I was like, I don't want to do this job anyway.
Okay. So yeah. Which it's funny you say that because here in the past month, for some reason, I don't know why this has happened. Because in my area, there's been some other areas that I've kind of like set out to go, okay, I want to target these areas. I'm trying to get into this. And I've had on 2 occasions where it'll be an area that's like, this is a neighborhood I've been targeting. And I get a call, for this neighborhood. And I'm like, great. Start to head out there. You turn in. I know roughly where I'm going, a bunch of nice houses. You make a turn and all the houses look super nice, but one. There's one right at the end. Yeah. All the grass is grown up. There's limbs everywhere. And you start going down the road, looking at the house numbers, going, okay, I'm looking for 521, whatever it is. And it's like 525. Ah, shit. and you go in and it's like, to say disgusting house is an understatement because there is just like canked on old cat shit and dog shit just in the corners of the house. You can see a walk trail where they walk and navigate through the house because that part's cleaner than the part of the floor is cleaner because they walk on it and it just like smushes all the cat shit away. And it's just like, and this has happened twice of like similar types of houses where I'm like, I'm trying to get this neighborhood. So I'm like, I finally got it. Cause you can get in, and like ask for referrals, you can do different things of maybe go knock on neighbors' doors, leave cards, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But it's a little more difficult, if you're trying to create a connection point and you're going to the house that everybody else in the neighborhood's like, hates. Oh, that's it's those people. And I'm like,
wishing it would burn down.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. So the house I went to, I don't know what's worse, your situation or these people, their house was relatively clean, but they still had 10 cats. And then like the front of the house looks nice. They got he had this nice Toyota truck that was all waxed. Like, I feel like they had like a BMW or something in the garage, attached 2-car garage. But then like you go to the back of the house where we're talking about putting the unit and you realize they have a cat door that attached to their garage, and they have this huge contraption built to where the cats can come out and go in this. Like, they spent hours and tons of money building this contraption for the cats to come and go out of their house. But they can't. Then the cats said they can't leave because they're trapped in this contraption. So I don't know. To me, that is like, I could chalk up the cat shit on the floor as being like a mental break from society or something like that. This just seems idiotic.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, it kind of depends on what the smell's like. That's
Yeah,
one
you're
thing
right.
that if it smells terrible, that's the one thing that I struggle
Both
getting
both
past.
both get a hard pass from me.
Yeah. Oh, well, we are an hour and 45 minutes in, so we have nobody
Well,
watching anymore.
you want
So
to hear about my trip so far?
let's hear it.
So I had a nice time with Ken.
I saw the few pictures you took.
Okay. Let's see, where are we here?
So got to see Ken play some music.
I did. Hang on, let me share screen. And now I got to figure out which one. Here we go. Here. Oh, that's not it. Share screen. There we go. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
And now I got to get back to wherever the heck that is, and I'll share. So this is a good band, and he's really into it, and so that was fun, and it was a nice restaurant. And they fill the seats. People come back to see him.
That looks fun.
I had to 50 kW charge because Athens is a fast charging desert.
Oh, geez.
Wow.
So I was very thankful to find this thing. We had a good time, went for a bike ride. I love his long hair and long beard. I hope he lets it grow. And then I stopped here, and these guys were awesome.
And whose company is this? Just a random one, or?
No, it's part of the wrench.
Oh, okay.
They're like 3 branches in Ohio.
Gotcha.
And I stopped at one of them, and I'm going to stop at 2 of them tomorrow on my way back. This was a cool truck at a supercharger. This guy lives in Huntsville, Tanner. Really super nice guy. He had a Ford before this, but it had really crappy range.
So Lightning or a different?
He had a Lightning, yeah. And so when he went to change, he went for this instead of a Cybertruck because it's, almost 500 miles of range instead of 330. This truck weighs 3,000 pounds more than mine.
It's a massive battery.
It is a massive battery, but it's an avalanche. So this window pops out and stores behind the seat, and then the seat folds, and then this piece folds over the top of the seat, and you have like an 11-foot bed. So that is really cool. And then it also has this.
Which normal configuration, it's kind of a small bed, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, it looks like a 5 or 6 foot bed.
I think it might be less than 6-foot bed.
Yeah, I was thinking it's like a 5-foot bed, which small beds for a truck, it makes it really tough.
Yeah, I got a 5-footer on mine.
So that extra foot makes a big deal, Tanner?
Yes.
Yeah, right now I'm looking at trying to get like a topper just so I can, and probably a bed slide just so I can like fit more stuff in the back. I have a service van, but like with a lot of these referrals are an hour away, hour and a half away, that I don't want to drive my van that far.
Oh, well, you should just get a Cybertruck.
Should.
Well, it'll drive you to these like once you use full self-driving for those long drives,
right?
It's over.
You probably you would.
I mean, this truck's cool, but it'll only drive itself on the highway,
right?
And you still gotta and what you have, you still got to drive all the time.
Yep. Yeah, but the small bed is definitely limiting, for sure.
Yeah, and the tonneau is amazing.
On
because
this thing?
all your stuff is secure.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing that does suck is it's not weatherproof. So it is like, well, it may not be
a little bit of water gets through.
Well, it's more like, and this is more of a me thing, but where I live, there's a lot of dirt roads, and if I do a little bit of driving on dirt roads, everything in the bed, even when it's closed up, is going to be covered in dust.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
interesting.
That part is not the funnest.
Because even my short bed, I just have one of those 3-panel tonneau covers on, and like my stuff stays dry and dust proof. It's crazy that the Cybertruck can whatever.
Are you driving dirt roads?
Nicking the armor. I have been on some, but not probably not as many as Tanner.
Okay.
But
I don't have that problem at all.
Yeah, I don't get any water though either. Like,
yeah,
I don't know that moisture. I get water. I don't know how much like.
Well, mine sits outside.
I think I might get a little bit of water in the if I get water, it's just around the perimeter.
Gotcha. Okay.
I get water in basically on the front and the back side of the bed.
Front.
There's like because I've actually found where it was at, where if you roll the tunnel cover all the way in, I can go up on the top glass, pour water, and there's like a drainage point where it hits, and it just dumps straight down into the bed. And so
it sounds like it'd be easy to fix.
I think that I've seen videos of people fixing that.
Potentially,
and I think it might be truck to truck, because I never get dumped. I get a little bit of water, but it's never. And I've been through some rainstorms, some really pretty serious rainstorms. So I think it depends on. And you got an earlier truck.
Yeah.
So this is Louisville, and they got really cool bike paths. And Friday, Ronnie ran out and bought an e-bike.
just to ride.
Yeah, and he had such a great time. He's gonna go buy one for his wife.
That's awesome.
Ronnie, he's just rolling in the dough. He's just like, I'll buy e-bikes left and right.
Oh, they're like
me some Teslas.
He's fully electrified.
Yeah, right. He is. So he sold one of his Teslas because it was sitting in the driveway all the time.
Right.
Which one did he sell? The Y or 3?
He sold the white. So he had 3 3s and a Y, and now he's down to 2 3s and a Y.
Oh, dang! I didn't realize he had that many 3s.
He got a used white one for his son.
Okay.
And then he upgraded his son to his old Perfomance one.
Okay.
That he bought in 2024 when he got his 2025. Or maybe it's a 2023. The old style when he got the new style. And his wife's Model Y, his other son got his license and prefers the Model Y to the Model 3. And so, and his wife is mostly driving his new car, and he's been working so much he doesn't need another car. When he's, he and his wife can share. They're mostly driving places together if he's doing personal stuff. So this is cool. I like these Airstreams.
Yeah.
So this is in the park over the pedestrian bridge. It's a great pedestrian bridge that crosses the river here. I guess that's it so far. I should have taken a picture today. I went to Williams, and then I also had a real nice dinner with Austin. What a super nice kid he is.
Yeah, it's crazy that he's like the last on the totem poles with.
And I'm talking to him, and he's just so knowledgeable. Like, and he totally dove into the Sandler, and he dove into the home performance, and so he makes all the connections. And I think he's got a very nice and a good way of communicating to homeowners. So it seems to me that he does a really nice job of representing the company.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think his average sale is close to $30,000 because they're giving him so few marketed and turnovers. He's mostly got comfort consults, so they're big jobs. His biggest job was like over 80 grand. And you got a sales guy whose biggest job was over 80 grand, and you put him at the bottom of the totem pole. I would call that a very poor job for what that sales manager is doing.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Like, maybe you fire that sales manager. The sales manager I talked to the other day understood these numbers right away. He would never have Austin at the bottom of the totem pole. I mean, they are throwing money away. So, whatever. Anyhow, tomorrow I'm gonna head to 2 branches in Ohio and offer to talk to people, which has worked out great, except for today, where I got blocked by the receptionist. But
what's that called in Sandler?
Huh?
What's that called in Sandler?
I don't even remember it.
He talks about calling in and getting stuck with the person answering the phone instead of connecting you to who you need to. But yeah,
right. Well, except that
that has a name.
Everybody knew I was going to be around.
Yeah,
and knew I was. So really, all I'm interested in doing is responsibly avoiding responsibility and offer decline.
Yeah.
So I'm here to see these guys.
Yeah.
And so that's just, oh, by the way, I'm going to be in town seeing these guys, and it'll be an opportunity for you to meet me and pick my brain.
Yeah.
So that offer decline has been firmly documented by Ronnie and Austin and by me. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm not really not all that interested in running around trying to sell HVAC20. I would like to make sure that I figure out how to market it.
Right.
And so I'm getting a lot of good feedback on figuring that out. And Tanner and I had a good discussion on Sunday, which helped me a lot. And then I'll go see Tim Portman.
Nice.
In Cleveland, and hopefully get a mountain bike ride with him. But this trip it was so hard to plan. I mean, Timmy.
You changed. Yeah.
Yeah,
you were changing like you like the one day you were like, I'll be there in 2 days. The next day you were like, I'm not coming.
I'm like, wait a second, he's only an hour away from my sister. I'll just go see him when I'm
Yeah, in the fall or whatever.
when I'm there, because
you were gonna add like 6 hours
700 miles to this trip.
Yeah, yeah, it was adding 6 hours one way or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm good. And Tanner, the truck's great road tripping, isn't it?
Yes. It makes it hard to go to anything else.
Do you use your Y much?
Maybe 10% of the time at most.
Okay, but it still brings you joy.
I like it because it's fast.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a performance Y, I would. I mean,
you should trade them both in for a beast.
Yeah. I mean, initially, if it wouldn't have been for just a little bit of a range hit that you get with the beast, I would have went with a beast.
Right.
But
okay.
That was really the drawback. It's just you ride it, and I'm like, I gotta ramp things up. I gotta make more money so that way I can justify to myself to have a personal beast. I'll have the foundation, work truck. That was the one that started it all, and then I'll have my personal beast. That's what. That's the goal.
That'll be good. Have a maybe if somebody ends up being partner material, it'll be like, here. All right, guys. Thank you.
Yep.
Let's go to after.
Let's do it. Thanks everybody for coming. We'll catch you back in 2 more weeks.